So I am here with the creator of MeTV Toons, Neal Sabin. Thank you, Neal, for taking this time to talk with me.
Well, Andre, thank you for being so great and enthusiastic about the network and telling people about it. It made me smile, and I watched your video so many times, and you're even wearing the right hat today. So big shout out. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the hat. You gave this
Oh,
hat to me. So.
okay. You know, swag comes with compliments.
Yes, yes. Well, first off, obviously, congratulations on MeTV Toons officially launching. I know that had been a big work in
Oh,
progress to make happen.
there's so many people who worked so hard, so much work, and they were starting to tear up a little bit, but everyone was laughing because it was the cartoons we were working on. So
Yeah.
it was like stress and laugh at the same time.
What made you decide to want to create this channel? And also, why did you feel it was important to have a channel like this come out today?
Andre, I started my career showing cartoons for kids' birthday parties when I had a 8 millimeter and then a 16 millimeter projector before anyone
Wow.
had any DVDs or VCRs or anything like that. So I've been watching cartoons and making a living with cartoons for more years than you've been alive. So this is kind of a culmination of a love that I've had for animation almost my entire life. We're in the Diginet business at our company, Waggle Broadcasting. Obviously, MeTV is the granddaddy of them all, and it's a really big hit. And then we have Heroes and Icons and Movies and Start and Story and MeTV Plus and Catchy and a lot of networks. This is not a giant corporation. We're a family-owned business based in Chicago that rolled the dice about 15 years ago with MeTV. And to the credit of this place, a lot of the money that MeTV has generated has been rolled into all these other networks to make them work. The thing that was missing and that it really isn't out there is classic animation. And we worked for many years to get Warner Brothers to sell us their classic cartoons for MeTV. And we put them on the air on our Tune In With Me show and on Saturday morning, and they did stupendously well in the ratings. And that gave us sort of the confidence to try this. And it is risky because it's animation, which some advertisers see as very nichey. And
Mhm.
there are so many diginets out there that it's hard to get space on good stations to play it. But we really, really believed in the product, and the company has put a lot of faith in this. And I got to tell you, the reaction has been so stupendous from your viewers and from others who just love what we're doing. I'd say 99% of the comments are positive.
Yeah.
I think everybody understands that this is not a short-term sprint. This is a long-term marathon. You know, to answer that question that everybody has to know, that we are not going to become the Cartoon Network and start doing a lot of first-run cartoon production. There's too much great old stuff to do. So I'm talking
Oh.
too much. This is your
No,
show.
no, no. This is great. This is great. Well, obviously, one of your big stars is Bugs Bunny, who's got a birthday coming up, and
Yes.
you guys have a whole celebration plan for him.
Well, here he is
Yes,
on
on
the
the
cover
TV
of
guide.
TV Guide.
That's so
Cover of
great.
TV Guide. I think it's probably one of their most popular issues ever. And there's a story about uh, MeTV Toons in here as well. You know, Bugs Bunny, I think, is the greatest cartoon character ever created.
Yeah.
He really is terrific, and it's a celebration of his everything because he is everything and every man. And you know, if you could only get away with what Bugs Bunny gets away with, wow. And so on his birthday, which is the 27th, we are running a full day of Bugs Bunny programming, including a 1 hour special called Hairs to Bugs, where we have all kinds of great guests talking about Bugs Bunny, the people who are the voices behind Looney Tunes and others.
Yeah.
Andre are in there. Are you in there, Andre? Did we know you when we did
I
this?
don't think you'd know me then, but if
Okay,
you
well,
ever do
next
any other
time
ones,
you're going to be in.
yeah, put me in the
You're in.
Daffy Duck one.
Okay, yeah. Well, everyone says if we did rabbits, it's a 1 hour show that we're going to run, I think, 5 times over about 18 or 20 hours.
Yeah.
And in between it will be hour after hour after hour of Bugs Bunny cartoons and interstitials. So it'll be a whole day of Bugs Bunny. That's our first foray into doing special programming. Now, the plan, but we haven't executed yet and figured it out. But this is exclusive for you to know.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at Will, our head of marketing.
What's he allowed to say?
Tell him about Thanksgiving.
Scoobtober,
Oh, yeah, we've got lots coming on, but yes, we're going to try and do something for Scoobtober.
Yes, I was
Okay.
hoping. I was
Yeah,
hoping
we're
there'd be some
working on
Scooby-Doo.
that. And on Thanksgiving, that weekend, we want to do one day of all ducks, one day of all bugs, no turkeys. And so that'll probably be what we do for Thanksgiving.
And it's nice to see between that and like Cartoon College. It seems like you're also trying to do this sort of documentary front of cartoons as well.
But we kind of feel that animation is an overlooked American art form, one of
Mhm.
the greatest American art forms. Not that it was invented in America, but that it was developed in America, and that, everything from, the early Fleischer silent cartoons with Coco the Clown to, the early Disney cartoons, and then everything Warner Brothers did. It's amazing work, and
Yeah.
it's timeless. And so we want to celebrate all that and talk about it. And who are the people behind all these cartoons? Who was Tex Avery?
Mhm.
Who was Chuck Jones? What kind of minds thought up all these crazy things? We're not heavy-handed with it. And we're not running a real college, cartoon college here, or a Tooniversity, which was taken. I couldn't use that one.
Oh, really?
But yeah, as the years go on, we'll do more of this, and we'll teach a little bit about animation and celebrate it, really.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I especially love the cartoon college short you did where you talked about the award-winning cartoons, like the Oscar-winning cartoons, because I think sometimes people forget about that animation short subject. And Tom and Jerry, especially,
Yeah,
like used to sweep that awards category a lot. So I think that was really cool.
and we run them, and I love it. And it
Yeah.
makes you smile every day. In a crazy world, you just turn on this channel, and Penelope Pitstop will make you smile.
Exactly. Obviously, you had this connection with Warner Brothers, but you've also got like Inspector Gadget in there, which I know is from Deke. You got Rocky and Bullwinkle, you got Speed Racer, and you even got this entire block of marionettes.
Oh, the known
No,
strings
no strings
attached.
attached. Yeah. So, what was that process about of like deciding what cartoons that we're going to launch this channel?
Well, Warner Brothers has the best library, and Warner Brothers has taken the best care of their materials.
Mhm.
Of course, Warner Brothers had the best cartoons with Bugs and all the Looney Tunes. And then when they acquired through Ted Turner's purchase the Tom and Jerry MGM library, Hanna-Barbera, they like hit the gold mine jackpot. They've done a pretty good job, and they're in the middle of restoring a lot of stuff. In fact, we'll talk about that in a little bit about what's being restored for us now. But others have kind of fallen through the cracks in a lot of places. I mean, people have been noting that the HarveyToons, which were originally produced by Paramount,
Yeah.
don't look as good as the Warner stuff, and we don't like how they look either. And we're trying to find restored versions, and they've kind of been neglected.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I did is I went to each of the studios, because I know who owns this stuff, and said, you have them. I mean, the people, it took me a year at Sony to convince them that they had Mr. Magoo in the UPA cartoons.
They
I
didn't know
said,
they
look,
had
here's the home video. You have them. You have them. I'm trying to spend money here. Find them. And so,
it. That's ironic that they couldn't find Mr. Magoo cartoons.
yeah, no,
Considering-
that's very clever. Yeah, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are the great ones. We have the
Yeah.
theatrical Mr. cartoons, which are the really good ones that won awards before they were made for TV. And maybe we'll get the made for TV ones, but there's some characters in there that won't play today. So we're going to have to do some selective editing of which episodes we run.
You have obviously a library of stars, cartoon all stars, to be a part of this. One of the things I felt was interesting, I watched the Cartoon All Stars block, which is absolutely awesome because it is the creme de la creme of cartoon characters. But it was funny because a Woody Woodpecker cartoon came up, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, I usually sometimes see Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry and Popeye together. I don't think I've ever seen Woody Woodpecker in that group. I think I've only seen Woody Woodpecker in like his own show. So it was like very interesting how you're having all of these different cartoons and then you had that All Stars block to just bring them all together.
And that's just me as a programmer.
Yeah.
Wanting to put that variety together. An hour of Popeye can get kind of boring because it's the same story in most cartoons. Each time they're going to fight over olive oil.
Right.
So you have to mix it up with some other cartoons as well. And we have to do a couple of things, Andre. We have to please the masses. And that's why There's lots of Scooby-Doo and lots of Bugs Bunny and lots of things everybody knows. But then I want to serve all the cartoon fanatics and lovers out there who know who Fox and Crow are and
Yeah.
know Betty Boop is and know the cartoons that were produced by MGM that didn't have any stars in them. They know who Tex Avery is. So it's a balance in every one of these hours to try and have familiar
Mhm.
and try to introduce people to some new things and trying as best we can to please everybody as much as possible.
Well, I think that's really cool. Something that I've kind of noticed, and I don't know if this was intentional in the programming block, is like you do have a lot of the heavy hits throughout the day, your Scooby Doo, and Flintstones, Jetsons, and Bugs Bunny and stuff. But it seems like once you get into late night, that's when you get like your Freakazoid and your The Mask and Police Academy and Beetlejuice, and then of course you have this totally awesome 80s block that you put together, which not only do I like the block of shows you picked, but just the style and the branding that you have around that is really cool.
You guys aren't watching this, are you?
We totally are, dude. Late Saturday night, take your TV back in time.
Hold on to your
For a righteous romp through the gnarly world of 80s animation.
We have the best promo and branding people. And they did a great job with that, VCR and the 80s tape and all of that.
You guys brought back some cartoons that I remembered them, but it was like interesting to watch them again. Like one that just comes off the mind is Mr. T.
You better, or the next time I won't be so nice.
The fact that you have that on there and then watching those shows again, it's just so funny how every week that van goes somewhere and they're solving a mystery. That sort of
I got to tell you, the A-Team is one of the most popular shows we have on Heroes and Icons.
Really?
Oh yeah, it does great. That was a human cartoon.
Yeah, right.
It was. Those were cartoon characters.
Yeah.
And Mr. T was the biggest one. And when I saw that on the list of the shows that Warner said, I said, oh, we have to have Mr. T because it really, not just for diversity reasons, but just because it's funny and it's 80s.
Yeah.
And it's in the 80s block. You got your Ed Grimley right before
Right.
it.
Yeah, that was wild. Ed Grimley and GoBots. I was like, wow, that's really cool to bring some of those, because some of those cartoons we have not seen in a while. So it's nice to see them resurface like that, and especially have their own block like that. So
we're working on more. Those are the more, the things that have a more specialized, more culty audience. Have to be in a time period where the audience is there for it or can tape it. We have to be as broad as possible, as I was saying, during the money hours.
Yeah.
Prime time, late afternoon, early fringe, as it's called in our business, because that's where the advertisers are going to pay real money. And that we have to have the largest audience possible. And that's where Bugs Bunny and the Flintstones and all the kind of safe stuff.
Yeah. The classics. Yeah.
Those shows have to be in the time periods where we can monetize them best. And that's another thing. Call those 800 numbers. Go to those websites. Show some love to our advertisers because they have taken a real risk coming on this network early. So thank you for that too. But yeah, you're very perceptive. We did the cool 80s block that may not appeal to everybody, but we wanted to do it. So we put it in places where you can enjoy it, but it's not going to inhibit our business plan of generating big ratings, big revenue, so we can buy you some more shows.
Precise puppet ploys and profound puppet productions that pack a powerful punch. In Super Marionation.
Well, going back to this known strings attached, like how did that come about? Because obviously that's not animated, but it does seem like it still fits. So I was curious like how that came to be.
It's animated adjacent.
Yeah.
And for people of a certain age, like my generation, those shows were on Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings all over America as part of cartoon blocks.
Yeah.
They're done by a guy named Jerry Anderson in Britain. Thunderbirds is probably the newest one and the one most people know.
Yes.
But those shows and the special effects that they have and the way they move those puppets, pretty amazing. And as you see, that's in the overnight hours where audiences are smaller and we can take some chances. And I just thought that those shows should be exposed. They have a following and they're fun, and people should give them a chance. The network is about introducing you to new things too, not just the things We'll be cutting back on the no strings at some point, but give them a try.
Yeah.
Okay?
That just made me wonder though, do you have a line of animation adjacent, where it's like this is as far as we'll go when it
You know,
comes to something that's live action versus, to
yeah,
keep the branding on tap? Because there's a lot of live action stuff that used to play with cartoons. That's why I was curious about that.
I thought about Alf, but we ran the cartoon Alf instead of the puppet Alf.
Yeah.
The puppet thing is probably it. There might be something that might run, but I can't think of anything right now that's not animated that we're thinking about for this network.
Okay. Yeah,
You know,
because it seems like you're very clear about that. Like, this is a cartoon channel. We are here to celebrate animation.
classic cartoon channel to avoid, there's lots of cheddar on the internet. Oh, they're gonna do what TBS did or a Cartoon Network did. We're not.
You are covering a lot of decades because, like I said, you've got stuff all the way back from the early days of Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry, all the way up to like some 80s and 90s cartoons. So it seems like you're covering as much as you can.
Yeah, from about the 1930s when the theatrical cartoons got sound
Yeah.
until the 1980s and maybe a few things even later than that. I mean, Freakazoid, I think that's from the 90s, just a touch of it here and there. I'm following part of the pattern that made MeTV successful, and that is to have a lot of variety so that there's something for everybody. We don't expect everybody to like everything that's on this network. That's life.
Yeah.
It's like, it'd be scary if you liked everything we did, but if you do, I love it. But, there are things you're going to like more than others.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have to say I like a lot, so I don't know. I might be a little scary because I was looking at that schedule and I was like, oh, yes, yes,
Oh.
yes. So you obviously have a large library of cartoons. So I have to know, was there any cartoon in the library that was the tough get? Like it was the Great White Whale, and you were luckily able to nab them.
It was hard figuring out who had Bullwinkle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wild Brain is a company up in Canada. They have cut a deal with the Ward estate, the J. Ward estate, and getting Bullwinkle there. But that show's been repackaged too, although they did a pretty good job of it. But it's not the very original way that we all saw it years and years ago, but it's as close as we can get right now. And as time goes on, we might be able to do that. So the hard stuff you haven't seen yet because I'm still working on it.
Okay.
The hard stuff is the TerryToons. People are asking for the TerryToons, the Mighty Mouse Heckle Jekyll. They're in a mess over at Paramount. I am trying. We are trying. Getting the HarveyToons in the original form. That's the hard stuff.
Yeah.
For original form, Underdog and all of those.
Oh, right.
That's the hard stuff. And Mission Impossible is Disney.
Yeah, of course.
Getting things out of there, even things that aren't Disney, that Disney owns. It's very, very, very.
Oh, yeah.
But I will not give up. I will not give up.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Is there anyone for you specifically? You're like, if I can get this cartoon on here, I will be so happy. Do you have like a personal favorite? Because I've got a couple,
Yeah, why don't you give me yours?
Well, I don't know if this is possible, but I am a huge Ninja Turtles fan. And so to get the 80s Turtles on there, that will be a really cool part of the 80s block or the 90s block.
No,
if you never decide to do
that would get a good slot. And I'm working on it. You know who owns it now? CBS, Paramount.
Yes. Yeah.
That is a show on my list.
Oh, cool.
It's on the list. I'm glad you brought that up. That's a great one.
And then because you had Freakazoid, of course, I've had a lot of people being like, are they going to get Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain?
Those are very expensive. I bet to do it. That is a multi-million-dollar investment. Those shows, they're partially owned by Spielberg, partially owned by Warner Brothers. There's a lot of people who are involved in that. And we've got some of the little shows, from that era, like the Two Stupid Dogs and Freakazoid. But I would love to have Animaniacs and Tiny Toons and Pinky and the Brain. So call those 800 numbers on the screen. Use those QR codes. Make this network successful.
Buy that car insurance.
Buy that car insurance.
Drive time or whatever. I was surprised that you got some of the like movie basements, having like the real Ghostbusters on there and Police Academy and Beetlejuice and The Mask. Yeah, I was like, because that's something that's always a fun time to think about, like all these movies that used to have their corresponding cartoon shows. But then I know that's another rights thing sometimes as well. So
yeah, and there's there are a lot of shows based on TV shows.
Yeah.
Like there's a Brady cartoon.
Yeah.
We actually have the I Dream of Jeannie cartoon, but we haven't put it on yet. Those kinds of things, they're nice to watch. That's the other thing we have to be careful about, Andre. Shows that are nice, nostalgic reminders, but aren't really good day in and day out.
Yes. Yeah. That makes sense.
Seen that, done that kind of thing.
Yeah.
we'll have some specials. Like maybe we'll do a day where we do the Brady Bunch and I Dream of Jeannie and all those, Laverne and Shirley and Happy Days had cartoons,
Right.
but they're not cheap either. But
No.
believe me, I'm spending the boss's money as fast as I can.
Well, I have to be curious about, you've talked about some stuff that you have, some stuff that you're trying to get,
Yeah.
but are there any things that we haven't seen yet that we can expect
Yeah.
to actually show up on MeTV Toons, like guaranteed in the future?
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee you what date they'll show up, but
Okay.
sooner than later, I would say. What it is a lot of what I'm going to give you a list of, and I want to see your reactions because I think you can do the voices. Because
gosh, I'm being challenged to voice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
These are things that are being restored by Warner Brothers right now.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one's an easy one because I know you can do it. The original Yogi Bear show.
Yay! Hey, boo boo. We're coming back to television, boob.
That's right. And they put it together with the original opens and closes and all of
like
that.
the OG, like how it was set up. Because a lot of times when they show Yogi Bear, it's like repackaged and stuff. So you're getting like the original Yogi Bear show as it was
That's what
set.
they told us.
Nice. So
Okay.
that means it's gonna come with like Huckleberry Hound and stuff too, then, right?
Well, that's the next one, the Huckleberry Hound show.
Oh yes. Oh my darling, Clementine. Love that.
And I think that's what held it up. I think that song, they had to clear the rights for the music in that show.
Really?
And that might have held it up. And Huckleberry Hound show has Pixie and Dixie in it, and some
Yes.
other cartoons are in there. And Yogi has Yaki and Snagglepuss and all of that. So those
yes, Snagglepuss. Heavens to Murgatroyd.
There
It's
you
a
go.
stage left.
you
MeTV
go.
Toons even.
Even.
Nice. I love
You
that.
are the best. You're the best.
Thank
Okay.
you.
We're going to have a block called Animation Antiques.
Oh.
That is going to be, really, really old stuff, the black and white cartoons, all of that.
Oh, yeah.
Working on assembling all that, but it's not done yet. But there will be a block called Animation Antiques.
Nice.
And that's where all that stuff will end up. And we even have some stuff that's not that old in there, like, Courageous Cat.
Oh, yeah.
This will be the block for things you don't see very much.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll run one Clutch Cargo episode or something like that, just so you can see what it looked like and get scared. And then,
That would be great.
Yeah, that'll be like the Animation Antiques or Animation Oddities. We're getting brand new HD prints of Top Cat. That's been done now.
Wow.
That we have with that.
Hey, boys, we're coming back.
Yeah, clear. Crystal clear.
That sounds great, TC.
Yeah.
Love it.
Magilla Gorilla.
How much is that gorilla in the window?
In the window.
Yeah. And Mr. Peoples or whatever. Yeah.
And I think they've restored that with the opens and closes. And Ricochet Rabbit.
Oh, bing, 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 Ricochet Rabbit.
That's right.
Yes.
And Pumpkin Puss is in that one too. And Loopy de Loop, Frankenstein Jr.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
with the
working on that.
Impossibles and everything? Yeah. Oh, my God.
I guess so.
Yeah.
And Dastardly and Muttley, we're waiting on that. Touche Turtle.
Yes. Yes, I remember Touche Turtle. Nice.
Lippy the Lion and Hardy Har Har.
Yes.
That'll be there. Wally Gator.
Yeah. Wow. Yes.
The greatest operator in the swamp.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
song.
Digging into that Hanna-Barbera library. I love it. I love it.
We're just waiting on new prints. So this is a big list. I'm giving you a lot of stuff here.
That's great. And I like that it sounds like you said you're getting like restored prints. You're actually trying to preserve some of these things as well as putting them out. So
credit to Warner Brothers for that. They are doing it. And, we've requested hundreds of things and there's only so much they can do at once. And then people will probably be thinking, why don't you put all those on tomorrow or put them all on at once? I said, part of it is we need to keep the schedule fresh.
Yes.
We have to keep renewing things. So, we'll probably do a big refresh in the fall. You'll always see Bugs Bunny. You'll always see the Jetsons. The big shows will always be there.
Yeah.
Some things are going to have to come off. Some things are going to come on and then they'll rest and come back again. That's how we keep things fresh. And I have just one last big one to tell you about. This is a big one.
Okay.
This is a big one. And people have asked for this. We're going to have the Superfriends.
What? Yes. Dun, 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 dun. That's awesome. Because yeah, that was the one thing I noticed. I was like, can they not get the superheroes? Is that not possible? But yeah, that's a big get. Oh my
We got
God.
it done. It was
Yeah.
not easy.
I bet. I bet.
This one, you got to deal with the DC people, the Warner
Yeah.
Brothers people, but we're gonna have, I think we have 140 of them. And they're a bunch of hour-long shows, half-hour shows, 10-minute segments, and it runs all these different Super Friends shows that they made over the years.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's a good one. That is definitely a good one.
That get the Andre stamp of approval.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay,
Always good
good.
to see Super Friends.
Kind of knew that's the one I should save for last, and I was right, wasn't I?
Yeah, I think it's gonna make a lot of people happy because I know that was the one that was asked about a lot. You know, people love, you know, Superman and Batman and stuff like that. So I knew that was one that was big. Do you have the Fleischer Superman cartoons or is that
We're going to try and get them. We're going to get the
okay?
public domain ones. They're coming. That'll be in our animation antiques probably, or we'll mix them into the Super Friends. But they've
Yeah.
been restored beautifully. And I'm working with the Fleischer family to bring over a lot of their stuff. I'm, trying to get Beanie and Cecil done with their estate. Everyone has to understand whenever they say, well, what about this show and what about that show? It's not like they're free. I mean, this costs real money, and we have invested millions and millions and millions of dollars in what we have already. So I just ask everybody be patient. We're going to get to much more of this stuff. We just can't do it all at once. I have almost killed the staff so far. I can't go any further.
As you're going through this library of cartoons, I'm pretty sure that every once in a while there's a cartoon that's like, ooh, well. So I know that sometimes you'll put disclaimers up, but I didn't know if that was something that was part of the process that you have to look out for as well.
We do. We have people
Okay.
watching all of them, and some of them, I look at and say, okay, this scene has to go, or the whole cartoon has to go. Mr. Magoo made for TV cartoons. There's an Asian character in there that's really not good.
Yeah.
And the Dick Tracy cartoons, I think, offended every ethnic group on Earth. It's unfortunate that some really great stuff was ruined with some really unfortunate things that at the time weren't really funny.
Mhm.
It was kind of it reflects on our history. So there are some cartoons you will not see. There are others you will see that have been altered a little bit, and there are others you'll see with the disclaimers. And there are other ones where I say, a disclaimer disclaims it. There are other times where every character in the cartoon looks stupid and does stupid things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a case by case basis. Pepe Le Pew, we do run those. Speedy Gonzales. There were a few of them that just went over the edge, but we have Hispanic people on our staff to look at these things and give us their opinions on them. And he's a lovable mouse who wins. We're trying to walk that tightrope between presenting the original cartoons in context and not crossing a line to things that were gratuitous and just not necessary. So that's the balance. And we watch everything we run. We've seen it all. Nothing gets here we haven't looked at.
You're very specific about the branding of the channel as well. It seems like you want to make this cohesive feeling, like even though these cartoons are coming from so many variety of places, and MeTV Toons, it kind of feels like they're all one
Destination.
together.
This is an animation destination. That's what we're making it into. And your viewers and the community, when I look on Facebook and see all the people that are talking about the network and asking questions about it and how do I get it and this and that, it's just terrific. And we, the comments we've gotten really, they make our day because, like I said, everybody is working very, very hard and really cares here. Everyone has to understand this is not as easy as take out a DVD and pop it in the player.
Absolutely.
There are so many things to go through that, in terms of screening and timing and ingesting and editing and then, scheduling and it's just a lot of work and it's not as easy as it looks when it shows up. We want it to look easy on the screen when you see it, but it's not easy. But we appreciate, that's why the praise that we're getting is so well appreciated, Andre, because everyone really did work hard on this.
It definitely shows. It definitely shows. I guess sort of finale to wrap this up is we're in this age of digital and streaming and so many different things. But what makes you feel, or what do you hope is kind of a takeaway for someone who's able to come to a television station and literally an antenna television station at that, and be able to watch a curated block of cartoons, to watch a schedule and enjoy these cartoons in that fashion?
Now, one of the ways to put it would be this is an old school programming. on the old school media.
Yeah.
And there is still something about watching it live, happening at the same time that many other people are watching it with you in a schedule that someone has curated. It is not randomly selected. There's a method to our madness here with that schedule, and it's the business that our company is in. It does not mean that we are not going to be multi-platform. At some point in the future, there will be a streaming version of this network, but it will not be the same as MeTV Toons. There's a lot of this material that won't be on there. And we think that it's kind of fun to watch old school on old school. And a lot of people don't realize that with an antenna, you can get sometimes 100 stations for free, and they look because they haven't been compressed.
Yeah.
So put an antenna on your roof, just like Elmer Fudd does, and the Three Stooges do, and all these cartoons do, and see what you got. And thank you, Andre. Again, you have helped us spread the word and get people watching, whether it's over the air, on Philo, on Friendly. We're hoping that cable picks it up soon too. It is available for cable. It's just they've got to just say yes.
That's great. And I appreciate all the work. Like I said, as someone who loves cartoons, classic cartoons, and a lot of people that are in the same ilk as me of liking these types of cartoons, it's just been really cool to see something like this. I think that's why I got so excited, because I was surprised that it just got announced, this big huge surprise of like, oh, we're getting a 24-hour channel, and it's literally 24 hours. Like, I was even waiting for, like, when does the infomercial show up? It's like, nope, 24 hours of cartoons. And just to see you guys be so passionate about it and preserving it and giving the information about it and stuff, it's like it feels like it's in good hands. So like you were saying, all the fears that people are having about what other channels have done when they started out with cartoons and what they became, it seems like you guys have a very clear path of what you want to keep doing with this channel, which is awesome.
Yeah. And no paid programming, like you said, unless people don't call those 800 numbers and put a QR code.
That's right. That's right.
Programming on.
Exactly.
Fix that theme.
Or someone's gonna have to make some cartoon infomercials.
And I think you'd be great at doing that.
Oh, that'd be fun. Or that's how we bring Thunderbirds back. Or that's how we bring the marionettes. They can be the advertisers.
Okay.
No, I hope to see cartoons all the time, 24/7, what you guys are doing. So thank you.
We will be doing that.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time to talk with me about MeTV.
We'll have to do it again. We'll have to do it again.
Yes, and everyone, make sure you check out the Bugs Bunny celebration that's going to be happening on MeTV Toons, 24 hours of Bugs Bunny. And then, of course, just check out all their wonderful program that they have, MeTVToons.com, if you want to find out where it's playing in your area, or like you said, it's also on Philo and on Friendly. So check it out.
Ask for it if you can't find it, right?
Exactly. Get it in your neighborhood. So, all right. Thank you all so much.
Bye.